If you've been gardening for any length of time, you've probably seen a viral tip telling you to bury rice in the soil to feed worms and supercharge your garden. It sounds simple. Rice is organic, worms love carbohydrates, and decomposing food becomes fertilizer. But before you run to the kitchen and toss rice into your beds, stop, because there's something most people don't know. Under the wrong conditions, rice can actually turn deadly to worms, overheat the soil ecosystem, and cause real problems for your garden's living community. Today on Soil Stories, I'm breaking down the truth behind this shocking claim, and what you must do before you ever put rice in soil. Let's get into the real story. We all love the idea of natural free amendments, but rice isn't just another organic material. When rice starts to break down underground, it ferments, and fermentation releases heat and gases. Worms are incredibly sensitive creatures. They breathe through their skin, and they require a moist, cool, oxygen-rich habitat. A buildup of gas in one small area can literally create pockets where worms suffocate. That worms exploding phrase has circulated online because sudden bacterial activity around rice can produce carbon dioxide and methane fast enough to create miniature compost hotspots. Worms wandering into these pockets may curl, tighten, and die. They don't literally explode like fireworks, but biologically their bodies can bloat and rupture. And no gardener wants that happening underground. It sounds extreme, but it's a real soil scenario most people have never been told. Here's something you need to understand before using rice anywhere near living soil. Cooked rice breaks down fast. Uncooked rice breaks down slow. Fast breakdown means a rapid bacteria bloom. Slow breakdown means long-term pest risk. Cooked rice buried in soil can go anaerobic within days. Anaerobic conditions are when bacteria consume oxygen and create a foul, sour, swampy environment. Worms avoid anaerobic zones, but if they get trapped in them, they die. Uncooked rice, on the other hand, doesn't heat up as quickly, but it attracts ants, rats, roaches, and even termites. Many gardeners think they're feeding worms, but they're actually inviting pests they will regret later. No one talks about this, and that's why your soil deserves this message before any rice hits the ground. Have you ever built a compost pile that got so hot, steam came out when you turned it? That's the exact same biology happening on a smaller scale when you bury rice in a planting hole. Rice is very high in simple carbohydrates and starch, which bacteria absolutely devour. Within 24 to 72 hours, bacterial populations can triple, and that bacterial feast produces heat, gas, acidity. Even a temperature shift of just 5 to 10 degrees Celsius in local soil is enough to stress or kill worms. Worms thrive best between 15 and 25 degrees Celsius. Anything above 30 degrees becomes dangerous. A fermentation pocket can easily hit that in warm climates. This is why many gardeners bury rice once, and then start noticing fewer worms, sour smells, or black dead zones under the soil weeks later. Before you swear off rice forever, let me reassure you, rice can be useful in gardening if handled properly. The key is pre-decomposition. Never bury fresh rice. Instead, feed rice to soil life before it ever goes underground. This means ferment it, compost it, make a rice water soil tonic, or inoculate it with microbes first. Once rice is already broken down safely, it won't trigger anaerobic rot or heat spikes. Instead of burying rice, rinse it and use the water. Rice wash water is rich in starch, minerals, and trace nutrients. It feeds beneficial microbes without clogging soil or rotting in a big lump. Just dilute 1 part rice water with 3 parts regular water and apply to beds every 2 weeks. This encourages microbial growth gradually, without forming fermented hot pockets that harm worms. It's gentle, effective, and you get results fast. If you have cooked leftovers, resist dumping them directly into the garden. Put them in a compost pile mixed with dry carbon material like leaves, shredded cardboard, or dried grass. When rice breaks down in a controlled compost environment, the heat is released in the pile, not in your soil. After 6 to 8 weeks, the rice becomes humus, which worms adore rather than run from. And here's something amazing. Worms can smell finished compost from meters away. They will literally migrate toward it naturally. This is for gardeners who want the pro version of rice use. In Korean natural farming, gardeners intentionally ferment rice to create lactic acid bacteria, one of the most beneficial soil microbes on Earth. The process: soak rice, collect natural microbes, ferment with sugar, dilute, and apply to soil. These microbes do not heat the soil, they actually cool it by stabilizing decomposition and increasing oxygen flow. Gardeners who use this method report more worms, better root development, reduced soil smell, and healthier compost. This is the only rice-based method that boosts worm populations safely and reliably. If you take only one thing from this soil stories lesson, let it be this: rice must never rot alone, rice should never break down by itself. Always pair rice with carbon materials, microbial inoculation, dilution, or pre-fermentation. Burying a lump of rice alone is like throwing a whole banana in a worm bin. It rots too fast and creates a biological time bomb. Worms do not explode because rice is toxic. Worms die because rapid bacterial fermentation changes soil conditions faster than they can escape. We're not trying to scare anyone. We're trying to protect your soil community. That community is alive, sensitive, and dependent on your decisions. The best gardeners think like soil. Before adding anything to the ground, ask, will this feed microbes gradually, or shock them suddenly? Nature prefers slow changes. When you understand that, soil stops being a mystery. It becomes a story you read and write every day. And that's why you're here. Because you care about what really happens underground. Rice is not the enemy. Ignorance is. Rice can feed microbes, improve soil structure, support worm populations, and increase biodiversity, but only when handled correctly. Never bury raw rice, never bury cooked rice, never let rice rot alone in soil. Use rice water, compost first, ferment for microbes. That is how you turn a viral gardening tip into a real, reliable, science-based soil strategy. If you found this lesson helpful and eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself. Help another gardener avoid a soil disaster. Share this video or article with a friend, and subscribe to Soil Stories for more real, practical gardening wisdom that protects the living world beneath your feet. Your soil is alive. Let's treat it like it matters, because it does. See you in the next Soil Story.